Arecibo, Puerto Rico. Taking on from Toronto, Ontario, Canada, the Father Henry Carr Prep Crusaders. To meet today's teams up first, Collegio San Felipe de Arecibo Eagles, coached by Louis Xavier Bedell. A 5'10" senior, number 5, Derek Sepulveda. 6'2" junior, number 10, Camille Felipe. 6'3" junior, number 16, Sebastian Rosado. 5'11" senior, number 17, Logan Ruiz. 6'2" senior, number 31, Adrian Medina. And now for Father Henry Carr Crusaders, coached by Paul Melnick. 6'7" junior, number 20, Raheem Wilson. 6'8" junior, number 15, Jalen Shirley. 6'5" sophomore, 12, Noah Nagata. 6'1" senior, number 1, Caleb Johnson. And 6'1" junior, number 0, Brandon Ocampo.
Welcome back to Salisbury. We have an international flavored matchup for you coming up in just moments. Father Henry Carr, who's made the trip down from Ontario, Canada, plays a team from Puerto Rico, the first team from Puerto Rico to take place in here with the Governor's Challenge tournament in its entire history. It's San Felipe, who's coming into this tournament just a few games under their belt this season. Father Henry Carr, a perennial power, and they have some notable alumni, some of which have played in the NBA. And it sets up a very different matchup than we've seen in games prior. Strength versus strength, the small, quick guards of the team from San Felipe against the more athletic, traditional bigs from Father Henry Carr. We'll see how the stylistic differences play out in this one as we take a look at the starting lineups, and we start with the visitors in this one. Father Henry Carr, coached by Paul Melnick in his 17th season. Brandon Ocampo starts in the backcourt, a 6'1" junior guard. He's joined by Caleb Johnson, who's their leading scorer at 6'5". He's a senior guard, as gifted as any offensive player Paul Melnick has ever coached. Also in the starting lineup is Noah Ngamba. He's a 6'5" sophomore forward. Jalen Shirley, also a guard. He's their starting point guard, and he handles the ball a lot for this Father Henry Carr team. And rounding out the starting lineup for Father Henry Carr is Raheem Wilson. And so he will be the final one in this lineup, a 6'7" junior center and a great shot blocker for Paul Melnick's crew. As for the Eagles from San Felipe, they're out of Arecibo in Puerto Rico. Derek Sepulveda starts in the backcourt, a 5'10" senior guard, joined by Camille Verwet, who's a 6'2" junior out on the wing. Sebastian Rosado plays down on the low block, a 6'3" junior, along with Louis Ruiz, a 5'11" senior guard. And rounding out the five for Luis Xavier Vidot is Adrian Medina, a 6'2" senior at the forward position. Taking a look now at our players to watch here in this one, there's some uncertainty whether Josh Morgan will suit up. He's been dealing with an injury for the first month or so this season. Injuries have been a big part of the start to Father Henry Carr's slate, as Courage Obega has also missed most of the season, likely done for the year with a knee injury. They're hoping Morgan comes back in the coming days. As for Camille Verwet, he's a talented young player on the team for Puerto Rico, and he's played with the Puerto Rican national team at the U15 level before, among the top talent from the island. And he's coming off a 13-point performance the other day in a victory over Veritas from Virginia. The Eagles 1-1 in this tournament. They beat Veritas 2 days ago, scoring 47 of their 73 points in that ball game from Sepulveda, Verwet, and Rosado. So take a look at those three. That coming before a loss yesterday to Beckley, who we saw a little bit earlier on this afternoon. Father Henry Carr, the visitors in this one, but they will wear their white uniforms. Puerto Rican San Felipe will come out in those seaside-like uniforms, blended with the white and blue with pink numerals and trim. So Raheem Wilson, the big body, 6'7" center, will jump to begin this one. And he will go against Adrian Medina at the center circle. Game 3 of 4 on the docket for us today. Glad to have you with us. Broadcasts all tournament long on the NFHS network, presented by AT&T. Sepulveda brings the ball up the court for San Felipe. Kicks it back to the top of the key, now around a screen. They try to get it inside, now back out to Sepulveda. He drives, kicks it across the lane. Lowry Ruiz from 3, and Ruiz knocks it down. Again, we talked about it in the open, the stylistic differences. The Eagles are going to really try to whip the ball inside out, whereas it's going to be a much more physical brand of basketball, as you see Brandon Ocampo draw the foul, and he will head to the free throw line. Ocampo, a recent addition to the Crusaders program, but he has certainly stepped up in the early season with the injuries to Josh Morgan and Courage Obege. And now an offensive foul called against Ocampo as he shoves Sepulveda to the ground. So they called that initial foul on the floor. And now a turnover as Ocampo is whistled for his first personal. 3-0 Eagles after the three-pointer from Rosado a moment ago. Or from Ruiz, I should say. Knocked out of play. It will stay at this end of the floor. Feeder wet to trigger the inbound, and it's stolen away. Ocampo spinning his way up the far sideline. He'll cross over, lob it up ahead for Caleb Johnson. Now back to Ocampo. He'll turn down the 3, drive into contact, and a blocking foul called against Lowry Ruiz. So his first personal is the second on the team. Referees now trying to make sure they have the right player. Looks like he signaled 21, but there is not a 21 on the floor for San Felipe. Nevertheless, Caleb Johnson will trigger the inbound. Gets it into Ngamba. Ngamba back to the basket, off to Ocampo. Johnson, a deep 3. That's off the mark, no good, and the rebound pulled down by Medina. Just under a minute gone by here in the opening quarter. It's a 3-0 lead for San Felipe. Father Henry Carr trying to come with the trap. They get it down low to Rosado, and before the shot, a traveling violation called. So a turnover back to the Crusaders. We see some full court pressure coming here from San Felipe. That's something that Father Henry Carr will do a lot of throughout the ball game. And this time it glances off the hands of Jalen Shirley and out of play. And a turnover back to San Felipe. Sepulveda to handle in the backcourt. We told you about the injury front for the Crusaders. There's also a very notable injury in this one for San Felipe. A couple of games ago, they lost starting point guard Richie Tirado. He's out with a fracture in his foot, and so he is with the team but will not play today. Corner 3 up, no good. That's off the mark from Sepulveda, and the rebound pulled down by Noah Ngamba. Ngamba will bring it up the court himself. Kick it near corner. Three-pointer on its way, and it's good. Jalen Shirley nails a triple, and we're even at 3 with 6:22 to play here in the opening quarter. Johnson pressuring Sepulveda. Trap comes now with Shirley. They get it free to Rosado. Whip a pass down low, and it's an offensive foul. Medina trying to clear out space, and the Crusaders draw the charge. More full court pressure coming from San Felipe. Ocampo able to clear it across the midcourt stripe, and he'll draw a foul. Sideline inbound coming across the way for Caleb Johnson. Johnson averaging almost a double-double, 25 points and 9 rebounds, and now a foul called away from the ball. Ocampo, I believe, called for pushing off as he tried to free himself for the inbound. So that's his second. He'll take a seat. San Felipe working right to left. 2 minutes gone by here in the opening quarter. Sepulveda splits the double team all the way to the rack. Layup won't go. Battle for the rebound. And it's Caleb Johnson coming away with it. Feeds Shirley up ahead. Shirley has his pocket pick. Sepulveda got him from behind. High tenacity defense early for both sides. Laui Ruiz dials up the triple. That's off the mark, no good. Offensive rebound and the putback there. Rosado able to follow on the boards. 5-3 the lead for San Felipe. And now contact and a call as Ngamba went to the rim and he's unable to get the shot to go, but will head to the free throw line, a chance for 2. Paul Melnick telling me that Ngamba is just a solid all-around player, a tremendous asset for this program, and the Crusaders lucky to have him. He was previously at a neighboring high school, and it ended up being a program that folded. And so Ngamba was left without a place to play, and the Crusaders able to scoop him up. 2 for 2 at the free throw line. And we're even at 5. Trap put on far side. Verwet able to spring it back to the point guard, and Sepulveda will set things up. Sepulveda being overplayed to his right side. And now a steal. Johnson off to the races in transition, able to spin off the defense and miss the bunny. Shirley battling for the rebound. Sepulveda rips it away. And the undersized Puerto Rican team from San Felipe is able to come up with several loose balls here early against bigger defenders. Sepulveda has it poked free from behind. Jaden Dorsett, who came on for Ocampo, able to poke it free out of bounds. 16 on the shot clock as the inbound comes to our left. Underneath, partially blocked. Rosado, second chance offer, draws the foul. So Sebastian Rosado, resilient on the boards, heading to the free throw line, a chance for 2. Rosado with noted really good footwork in the paint, good on defense, and he's one of the bigger bodies that this San Felipe team has. An undersized team, as we talked about. Rosado listed as a center at 6'3". That's a guard on many teams here at the Governor's Challenge, and he's 0 for 2 at the line. Even at 5, 4:40 to play here in the opening quarter. Johnson in the front court. And a foul called, I believe it's against Sepulveda, trying to reach in and steal it away from behind. Sepulveda's first, and it's the 5th on the team. Inbound to Johnson. Quick 2 off the inbound. That's around and out, no good. Battle for the rebound, and it's tipped free to Rosado. No numbers, he'll go anyway. Rosado to the bucket, lays it in with the left hand. A little shimmy on the break, and Rosado with 4 points. It's a 2-point advantage for San Felipe. Shirley lost it on the drive and a foul called. Laui Ruiz putting his hand up saying, that's on me. Not sure exactly who else was in the picture, but the way in which Ruiz was adamant that he committed the foul makes me think he was trying to protect against one of his teammates. 7th team foul, so it's a 1-and-1 situation for Shirley at the free throw line. Jalen Shirley, 8 points per game, 8 assists, and 4 steals. An asset as a point guard for Paul Melnick, and he misses on the first free throw. Verwet gets it to Sepulveda. He'll cross the timeline with it. Ruiz on the wing, now back up top for Medina. He'll drive right side of the lane, scoop up a shot, can't get the roll, and the big body rebound for Raheem Wilson. Up ahead on the break, and a lay-in converted by Jaden Dorsett. That shows you how quickly these Crusaders can get from one end of the floor to another. Sepulveda nearly has it stolen, able to retain possession. Viruet ducks between the double team. Rosado extra pass down low, and a great finish inside by Adrian Medina. Sebastian Rosado has been extremely impressive early with his awareness for who's where on the floor. Give and go now, skip pass to the corner. Dorsett the triple, and he cans it. 5 points off the bench for Jaden Dorsett. And it's a 10-9 lead for the Crusaders. Another pass to the corner, knocked straight up in the air. Medina tried to go up. It was knocked away from him, and it comes free now to Dorsett. 3-on-2 for the Crusaders. Dorsett shuffles it off, and Johnson lays it in, and he's fouled. Sepulveda was in the restricted area, and he undercut Johnson on the drive. And Sepulveda, who had Johnson come down on top of him, a little bit slow to get up. Ruiz will come off the floor. Entering now for the first time is William Rivera. And now additional subs coming on. Malachi Howard for the Crusaders, a 6'5" junior forward. Free throw up and good. Johnson able to complete that three-point play. 13-9 Crusaders on top. Rivera floater, that's off the mark, no good. Or Rosado, I should say. And the rebound for Johnson. Ngamba. Look at the mismatch there side-wise as Johnson leans in, too strong in the little floater. Rebound weak side, put up and no good. Johnson, another rebound, and he's called for over the back. That was Jalen Shirley who got the second chance shot away. Foul against Johnson, his first. Fourth on the team. Viruet helps clear the timeline, gets ahead to Rivera. Rivera cut off in the corner. We'll swing it back near side. Viruet driving baseline, tried to feed one in front. Kept alive down low, batted around, and now Caleb Johnson the takeaway. Lead pass up ahead. Dorsett, extra pass, and it's slammed home. Ngamba the flush, he's got 4. And the Crusaders starting to find their rhythm, 15-9. They're up by 6. And now a reaching call against Ngamba on defense. Victor Arigbe-Osula on the floor for the first time now for Father Henry Carr. Viruet running the offense. Here's a floater from Rivera, left it short, no good. And the rebound pulled in by Arigbe-Osula. He's looking to push. Johnson back to the basket. Now the drive and contact and a foul drawn by Ngamba. And he's headed back to the free throw line. First free throw up and good for Ngamba. He's got 5 early for Father Henry Carr. Melvin Vargas, by the way, also on the court for San Felipe. A 5'9" junior guard. Very quick, a very good outside shooter. Full court pressure from the Crusaders. They get it into Medina. Vargas able to clear half court, holds his pivot foot, kicks it up top. Rivera surveys, working against Johnson. Rivera on the roll. Shot up, too strong that time for Medina down low. Putback is in. Adrian Medina with 4 points. So far, San Felipe not intimidated by their counterpart's size advantage. Johnson the floater, that's off the mark, no good, and a rebound controlled by the Eagles. They look to push again. San Felipe weaving, Kick near side, Vargas off the head fake. Back outside they go. Vargas, ball fake, and he traveled with it. Ronaldo Morales also on the floor for the Eagles, wearing number 33. We continue to see the Eagles mix in players in this rotation. And Sebastian Nunez now will come on. So a lot of depth in terms of numbers, but not a whole lot of scoring depth. It's almost exclusively Sepulveda, Viruet, and Rosado. Offensive foul called now against Arigbe Osula, who tried to shove a defender behind him as he tried to blow by towards the lane. And the clock stopped now with 57 seconds remaining in the opening quarter. 17-11, Father Henry Carr on top. Vargas in the backcourt crosses the midcourt stripe. He'll set up the offense. Vargas around the screen, dunks in between two. Kick out now to Nunez. Back to Vargas. Morales will try the three. That's off the heel, no good. Offensive rebound, put back, no call. Third opportunity down low, and that one up and good. Nice job by Nunez to muscle his way to the rim. And it's a 4-point game with 30 seconds remaining. Giancarlo Walton in for Father Henry Carr. He'll dish it down low. Arigbe Osula off on the shot. 21 seconds to play. Shot clock is turned off. Vargas has it poked free from behind, and it comes free to Ngamba. He'll give it up to Shirley. Shirley back to Ngamba near side. Ngamba right side of the lane leans in, contact and a foul. And Ngamba, who's almost lived at the free throw line here in the opening quarter, has another chance to shoot a pair. 6.9 seconds remaining, a 4-point advantage for the Crusaders. Couple of subs at the scores table for Father Henry Carr. We'll check in after this free throw. It's up and good. Ngamba's got 6 points now. Mark Henriquez enters, a 6-foot sophomore guard. The other sub at the table coming in for the shooter, Ngamba. Second free throw good as well. Malik Kador is that second sub. Kador, a 6'10 senior center. Full court pressure now shown with 6.9 seconds. Father Henry Carr is up by 6 here in the opening quarter. Into Vargas. Vargas with 5. Vargas with 3. Vargas to the rim, lays it in. Good take to end the half. Check it, it's Rivera at the bucket. And at the end of one, it's a 4-point Father Henry Carr lead. But the Eagles hanging tough. We're back for the second round after this. You're watching the 2019 Governor's Challenge presented by AT&T. (1915) Crusaders up by 4 after 1. Teams back on the floor for the second quarter. Father Henry Carr off to a 22-4 start. They play a ton of games. They start the season early. They're north of the border, and it's their third game here at the Governor's Challenge. or second game, I should say. They defeated St. Mary's Goretti on Friday. Foul called here to begin play in the second. That'll go against Sebastian Nunez, his first. So Mark Henriquez at the free throw line. Henriquez, a really talented guard, but they have a lot of those on the Crusaders roster. So he hasn't seen a ton of playing time so far this season just because he's buried on the depth chart. But he's getting a chance to play here in the Governor's Challenge. Henriquez good on the second free throw. His first point of the game. Rivera passes far side. San Felipe working right to left with it. Rivera inside, skip pass, knocked away. It was Morales who had it, lost it. Opposite corner, three-pointer on the way. That's no good. Tip up, no good. Battle for the rebound, and it comes free. Henriquez off to the races the other way, banks it up too strong. Battle for the rebound again, no good on the putback. Still loose on the deck. Oribe Osula can't get the third chance to go, and away come the Eagles. Rivera spinning away from traffic, dishes it off inside, off the glass and good. Now it's Rodriguez, Javier Rodriguez, who put it home. Into the game for the first time. One possession game now, 20-17. And an offensive foul. So you wondered if this might be an issue for the Eagles. Undersized, not quite as physical, but right now they're using the over-aggressive physicality of the Crusaders to their advantage. And so far, Father Henry Carr has not dominated the way you might think they would on the rebounding front. Rivera brings it up court. Drive and dish. Inside. Count it, and a foul. Nunez a chance for a three-point play. And there's a decent-sized Puerto Rican contingent here, and they're on their feet near side. Nunez with 4 points. And now Caleb Johnson and Noah Ngamba back on the floor. A couple of starters following that last sequence. As San Felipe has a chance to tie it here at 20. Free throw up and no good. Offensive rebound. They'll kick it back outside. Rodriguez with it. And his pass was kicked. That'll reset the shot clock to 30. With 1:30 gone by here in the second quarter. Father Henry Carr up by a point. Rodriguez back outside. They swing it around. Into the low block. Spinning, floating, and knocking it down is Sebastian Nunez. He provides them muscle off the bench, and he's done that here, giving San Felipe a 1-point lead. Back the other way, a foul is called as Brandon Ocampo went to the rim. Looks like they got Morales on the foul, his first. And Ocampo shooting free throws. Ocampo averages 18 points per game and 5 assists. He's been a spark plug so far this season and no good on the first free throw. Medina back in, Morales to the bench. One big for another for the Eagles. Second free throw up and good. Ocampo onto the score sheet. Now a lead pass up ahead. Vargas working with it. Skips a pass to the far side. This is Rivera, trapped. Rivera able to get it free. Back to the near side. Vargas left alone. Deep three on the way. Around and out, no good. Offensive rebound. And stripped away on the putback was Medina rather. Foul called after the fact. That goes against Rodriguez for reaching in. And we'll have free throws coming at the other end. 10 team fouls against Father Henry Carr. That was the 8th against San Felipe. And a couple of subs awaiting entry at the scores table. Free throw up and good. First of a 1-and-1 earns Ngamba the bonus. He has 7 points here in the opening half. They've all come at the free throw line. As Raheem Wilson checks back in and replaces Mark Henriquez. Second free throw up and in. 8 free throws for Ngamba. Bounce pass left wing. Vargas doesn't take the three. Now to the corner. Medina will take it. He'll miss it off the side. Now Ocampo looks to push. Ocampo weaving his way down the lane. Right-handed shot up and in. May have gotten away with a little push-off with the offhand. But Ocampo makes it a 25-21 game now. Nearly a turnover. Eagles still able to get to it, and it's a timeout taken by Luis Xavier Verdad. So he will take time. Vidal has coached many of these kids since all the way back in 2001, since many of them were early in elementary school, and he's a coaching legend in circles around Puerto Rico. He's been coaching high school ball for the last 20 or 30 years. And not only has he done an excellent job working with the team sports side of things, but he's also gone back to school, gotten a degree in sports management. And from what I'm told, he absolutely lives and breathes basketball, and especially youth basketball in Arecibo. 5:24 to play, second quarter. And it's a 4-point lead right now for the Eagles. Eagles get it in along their far baseline. Rivera the drive and dish. Three-pointer off the mark that time from Nunez. And here's Johnson looking to run. Lead pass up ahead. Shirley has it blocked away from behind. Chased down, blocked by Nunez on defense that time. Able to get back in the picture. Eric Burgos also into the game for the first time, a 6-foot senior forward wearing number 6 for San Felipe, and before the shot, a foul called. And now a trio of subs at the scores table. So Coach Vidal doing a nice job to mix in his rotation here early. He's played the whole roster here in the opening half. And his team up by 4, make it 3 now. As Ngamba hits another free throw. 9 points in the opening half, all coming at the stripe. Rosado back in, along with Verdot. And Sepulveda. Free throw up and around and out that time. Rebound claimed by Medina. He'll look to get it up the floor. Burgos dishes it off. Rosado had his pass knocked free. And it comes back to the grasp of Ngamba. Shirley will slow it down. Johnson, kick to the corner. Three-pointer on the way. That's around and out, no good. As the three ball came from Brandon Ocampo. Sepulveda pass to the cutter. Rosado too strong. Or Medina actually that time. Trying to finish, cutting down the lane. And now a foul called as Johnson came driving down the paint. And a reach in will go against Kinel Viruet. 4:38 to go in the second quarter. It's a 5-point lead right now for Father Henry Carr. I think I misspoke a moment ago, saying that it was the Eagles in front, but it's Father Henry Carr. Despite the white uniforms, they're playing as the guests here today. Caleb Johnson at the free throw line. He'll bend the knees. And he can't get the roll every part of the rim, but it doesn't drop through. Johnson can go off at any given moment. He's had games this season of 45 points and 39 points. So he can certainly fill it up in bunches. Second free throw does go down. He's got 4 in the opening half. Rosado drops it back. Sepulveda swings it far side. Reverse layup will not drop for Virouette. And away comes Johnson. Dish it off left side. Into traffic and a traveling violation against Ngamba. So Ngamba, who's thrived on contact so far today, that time able to or unable to get free. Now the other end, a foul called as Medina was camped out behind the defense, and a baseball pass ahead nearly got him to the bucket. He'll have to earn it now at the free throw line. Medina went up looking to dunk it that time. At 6'2", he has pretty good leaping ability on a team that overall doesn't quite have the size that many here do. Medina called their lone dunker, if you will. And his first free throw is up and good. Medina's got 5 points here in the opening half of play. Both teams now in the double bonus will be shooting free throws the rest of the way as Medina is unable to get the roll in the second. Rebound now to Wilson. He's able to get it to Shirley, who bodies off Sepulveda. Shirley, left side for Johnson. Ocampo calling for it left corner. Instead, Ngamba will take the three. That's off the left side of the rim, no good. And the rebound pulled down by Burgos. Sepulveda sends it left side. Virouette. He'll cross over to the rim. Contact and a foul. Foul go against Jalen Shirley. And Virouette will be at the free throw line. Virouette plays the position of point forward for this team. At 6'2", he has more size than most of their guards, but he's also very comfortable handling the ball. As Wilson checks out and Malachi Howard back in for the Crusaders, who lead this one by 5. Free throw good, the time from Virouette. It's a 4-point game. And a foul called against Sepulveda in the near corner. Free throws coming at the other end. 4 minutes to play, and I have a feeling we're going to have a lot of free throws the rest of this opening half. Already 20 fouls total called. And it will be Brandon Ocampo at the other end. First free throw up and good. Free throw up and good. And now pressure on the inbound. Eagles able to get it across. Pass inside, now back outside. 3 ball from Burgos. That goes down. Eric Burgos off the bench pours in his first 3. And it's a 1-possession game. Ngamba got away with a carry that time. Swing it left side now. Howard drives baseline. Over the rim, no good. Ngamba's tip won't go. And the rebound claimed by the Eagles along the baseline. Up ahead, pass intercepted, intended for Rosado. Dorsett took it away. Now Ocampo on the shoulder fake. Dorsett's floater, or Howard rather, that won't go. And it will stay here, a foul called against the Eagles.
As I mentioned, for courts 1 and courts 2, the concession stand here in the arena is now closed. However, food will still be available again in the line.
So free throws coming from Malachi Howard. Double bonus situation for both teams from here on out. Howard, a long athletic style that really fits with his father Henry Carr culture. He's coming off the bench, but he can do many of the similar things that the starters do in this lineup. I was asking Paul Melnick about that and how they have continued to play the same style year after year, and he said really he thinks that it's not as much forcing, a square peg in a round hole, but simply that his program attracts players of a certain skill set. Follow-up shot won't go down for Dorsett, and off the rebound, another foul called, and Johnson will head to the free throw line. Well, when you're an undersized team, contesting on the rebounds can be a challenge, and it looks like so far here in the first half, the Eagles are going to use all 5 fouls for all 12 guys. Free throw up and good. Johnson's got 5 in the opening half. And now a timeout taken. Mentioned Paul Melnick at the helm for the Crusaders. His 17th season with Father Henry Carr. 29th overall coaching at the high school level. And for him it all started watching Michael Jordan back in his playing days at UNC before he was even in the NBA. But there was one shot in particular for Melnick. A game winner against Georgetown in the NCAA tournament in 1982. And that's really what got Melnick hooked on basketball, and he's got a chance to watch the basketball culture grow in Toronto. And he said the number one thing that spurred the growth was the Toronto Raptors being created as an expansion team in 1995. And from there, the game has really taken off north of the border. Got a chance to speak with him last night, and I was asking him about the championship for the Raptors this past season, and he said that while he didn't go down to the parade, just about everyone he knew was there, was celebrating, and it was such a awesome moment for the city and even beyond. And he said that even with the Maple Leafs in a hockey-centered country having their drought, he said, I don't think people would have responded quite the same way if the Maple Leafs had done what the Raptors did. But there's been a lot of growth in Canada, in Toronto specifically, and Melnick thinks that it will only continue in the NBA as we'll see more and more NBA players coming out of Toronto. Currently in the NBA, there are 36, 20 active all-time. Johnson at the free throw line right now for the Crusaders, and he's off the mark. Offensive rebound for Dorsett, and he's partially blocked from behind. Got his own miss, though. Shot clock reset. Shirley has it out front. 3 minutes to play before the half, and a foul called. And that will be whistled against Burgos. So more free throws coming. Now it's Shirley's turn at the line. First one up and good. Melnick really likes what Shirley brings to the table passing-wise at that point guard position, but is looking for the junior guard to become a little bit more vocal, a little bit more of that coach's extension as the prototypical leader on the floor from that point guard spot. Second free throw up and good. 33-26, Crusaders on top. Trap put on against Alawi Ruiz. They get it free. Burgos, deep three right side. That's off the front of the rim and over the rim. No good. Offensive rebound pulled down. Rosado will step back, and he'll knock down the jump shot. Sebastian Rosado has 6 in the first half, and it's a one-possession game again, 33-30. Shirley dribbles forward, kicks it right side. Pass into the post, stolen away. Eagles have it back. A chance to tie with a 3. Verwet throws it into the bench. Heavy pressure in the backcourt, and he was trying to get it to Ruiz and could not do so. Sideline right inbound coming. Johnson will trigger. Ngama in the corner, back up top for Shirley. 2:15 to play in the first half. Johnson a triple. That's off the mark, no good. A rebound pulled down by the Eagles, and a foul called now. It will go against Dorsett, who tried to reach in and take it away from Rosado. So Rosado will head down to the left side of the floor and shoot some free throws. Rosado again led the team with 18 points in the victory over Veritas of Virginia back on Friday. Now the referee's checking something with the scores table far side. Rosado rims in the first free throw. Speaking of the growth of basketball north of the border, very similar sentiments can be expressed for basketball culture in Puerto Rico. Second free throw up and good. In fact, in talking with Ricardo Tirado, one of the assistant coaches for the Eagles, he said, while baseball might be the first love of Puerto Rico, basketball is actually the most popular sport now on the island as it's blocked away inside by Burgos. Eric Burgos has been very good off the bench. Right now on the defensive end of the floor. Shot clock at 21 and Johnson to inbound. Ngamba kicks it back up top for Shirley. He'll set up the offense. Ngamba driving into the paint. And his shot partially blocked, but contact and a foul called against Viruet. So Ngamba back to the free throw line. He's got 9 points, all free throws here in the opening half. There have been 23 fouls called in the opening 14 minutes. And the first free throw grazes the front of the rim, no good. Viruet to the bench. As he has a couple of fouls in the free throw good. Or no good, I should say. Now another sub coming in for the Eagles. It's Rivera who will enter. Extra ball handler on the floor. He'll get it on the inbound and break this full court pressure. Gave up his dribble just across midcourt. And a foul call to reach in on the far sideline. So Adrian Medina now at the free throw line with 1:41 to play here in the second quarter. Medina's second one off the mark, no good. Put back tipped in by Rosado, and the Eagles have the lead. Rosado's got 8 in the first half, and now a foul called. That'll go against Medina near sideline. I think the biggest interest, or biggest thing I've noticed culturally so far in watching this Puerto Rican team, again, it's Colegio San Felipe de Arecibo making their Governor's Challenge debut, is how they react to foul calls. Almost exclusively American teams are, what, me, really? Are you sure? Puerto Rico every time, yeah, that was me, you're right. My bad. I don't want to generalize, but I think it stood out noticeably here in this first half. 35-34, Eagles up a point. Lowry, Ruiz, drive and dish. Rivera far side, pivoting. Now entry pass, and before he did that, he traveled. Okay, so that time he wasn't thrilled with the call, but in general, the foul calls at least, it's been the other way. Minute 10 to play, first half. Johnson has it poked free from behind, and Rivera comes away with it. Rivera able to clear the timeline. No look pass inside, knocked out of play, and it will stay at this end with 23 on the timer. Rivera set to inbound, 59.5 on the clock. Ruiz thought about the three, doesn't take it. Drive and dish back outside. Ball fake from Vargas down the lane. Lofts it up and it falls in. Melvin Vargas, a little teardrop. And it looks like Rosado has got caught across the face. Looks to be okay to continue as they give him a towel from the bench. (37-34). Eagles up by 1. And now they will pull Rosado off the floor and bring Nunez back on. Shirley against the full court pressure. Able to toss across to Johnson. Johnson passed down low, turns it over. He was hoping Kador would cut to the rim. Kador stood in that pocket and never went to the tin. Ezekiel Joseph Mullings now entering for the first time for the Crusaders. Another guy with extreme height as compared to the Eagles. 6'8", junior center is Mullings. Rivera working against pressure. Bounces it forward now into the corner. Three-pointer on the way. That time off the mark, no good. Tipped forward by Dorsett, and he'll run onto it. Dorsett, scoop shot, no good, but he does draw the foul. Morales commits the personal. And with 26.5 on the clock, free throws upcoming for the Crusaders. Dorsett, eyes, flies in and out. Dorsett in his 4th season at Father Henry Carr began with them as an 8th grader. Came up from JV to varsity last season. Became a contributor off the bench, and this season seeing increased minutes as his progression continues. Free throw good, lead down to 2. Shot clock turned off, and now a steal. Johnson is fouled by Rivera. So it'll be Johnson at the free throw line. Two-thirds of the points here in the opening half have seemingly come at the free throw line. Johnson, the senior, rims out the first. More changes for the Eagles. Viruet back in, as is Xavier Rodriguez. Second free throw, good for Johnson. He's got 7 in the first half. 16 seconds to play as the Eagles work against pressure. Viruet will clear it. Viruet taking Johnson off the dribble, wraparound pass, knocked away inside. And it will stay at this end of the floor as he tried to target Sebastian Nunez in the low block. Rosado back on the court for the final seconds as they try to get off one final look at the rim. Medina will also come on, 5.3 on the game clock. Eagles up a point, 37-36. They lob it out top. Near side, Ruiz driving, 2 to shoot. Ruiz from the elbow. That's too strong, and Johnson has the rebound. That'll end the opening half. The Eagles undersized, but have hung tough. In fact, they're up by a point, 37-36, after 16 minutes of play. Second half comes your way next, but first we check in with the winners of the skills competition, 3-point and dunk contest from 2 nights ago.
All right, we're back with another edition of Off the Court. Gov's Challenge in the building tonight. We got a West Virginia to Lithuania takeover. We got Dom, we got Rob, the 3-point champion and the dunk champion. First, Dom, let's talk about your dominating performance in the 3-point challenge. How did you feel out there on the court?
I feel good because it's not my first contest. I knew that I'm gonna win. I don't know why, but I have that feeling.
I think confidence is the most important part of being a good basketball player or a good athlete in general. When you were hitting those money balls, did you felt the crowd's energy?
Yeah, I feel crowd's energy, and that helped me a lot.
Now, the competition, like you come over here to play basketball and go to school. The competition over here, it's a different level, right?
Yeah, it's different level. There is faster basketball, and all guys are jumping. If you're on the way, get out of the way.
But you felt like you was number 1 on the court tonight, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Now, what do you think about the trophies? Well, I know your coach said it was going to be a little difficult to get back to Lithuania. How do you feel about grabbing that trophy? Is that one of a kind?
I think it's not a problem because trophies is lit.
It's definitely lit. Now, Rob, we got to talk about lit. You was on a different level tonight, my man. I thought you had it wrapped up when you threw the ball into the court, but that foul line shot, that was something special, man. Talk about what you had going on in your mind going into the dunk challenge.
First, I started easily, off the side of the backboard, and then for the final, I took the best dunk I can do, free throw line, and it worked.
Now, I could tell between the two of you confidence. You're a little more confident. You're a little more humble, right? So in that situation of people gassing you up, like does that get you going? Does that get you pumped up?
Yeah, fans are the most important thing in basketball. Like, if they're cheering for you, you're gonna play better and you feel better.
Yeah, most definitely. And I think that, as far as the Gov Challenge is concerned, you definitely made a classic moment with that foul line shot. What were you thinking about going into that? Because you flushed it first time.
Yeah, I don't know. I practiced a lot on this dunk, but I could never make it. But adrenaline today was different, and I tried my first try, and I dunked.
It was special because everybody seen you move the displays out of the way, and everybody just got more and more amped. So you just felt like that adrenaline just took over, huh?
Yeah, definitely, yes.
That's what's up, man. Now, as far as I'm concerned, I'm a West Virginia alumni, so I love seeing you guys up here. I love seeing your coach with the West Virginia logo. Obviously, college is in the future. What are you looking towards?
Now I have a Division II offer from Alderson Brothers and from JUCO Chipola College. And Marshall University also showing big interest for me.
That's what's up, man. Well, I'm gonna tell you both guys, you're a different level of competition. I think this was definitely our first team takeover as far as the challenges were concerned. So kudos to you guys, and you really killed it. Now let me ask you one more question, Rob. What'd you think about your trophy?
It's amazing. I never had that kind of trophy, and I really like it.
So it's one of a kind. It'll last forever for you, huh?
Yeah.
Well, you heard it here first. Governor's Challenge. I got Dom. I got Rob. Lithuania takeover. Gov Challenge. We out. Off the court.
Here's the Puerto Rican flag. Okay, contestants, take your marks. Remember, it's a right hand and a left hand layup, but you gotta make the right hand first, then a foul shot. Whoever makes it first will win. On your mark, set, go!
The new $3 Little John from Jimmy John's is just like our original sandwiches, only littler. So we bought a little ad on Lil John.
Little John, yeah! $3, what?
Just a reminder again to the fans on court number 1, the concession stand again is open in the lobby. The concession stand, unfortunately, here in the arena is closed. And again, let's have another thank you to, again, Miriam from Canada, Marilyn from Puerto Rico for competing again in our Jimmy John's halftime show. Talk about a true international battle.
Well, the question entering this matchup was how would the smaller San Felipe team deal with the size and physicality of Father Henry Carr? Well, one was their mentality. They were not afraid of the bigger competition. They were fearless in taking the ball inside. The other way they dealt with it was fouling. They used a ton of personal fouls in the first half to slow the game down, to not allow any easy looks. And the first half was largely characterized by, well, free throws. As we look at some of those first half numbers, they're on your screen right now. And you can see how in the opening half of play, so much of it was done at the free throw line. As we detail some of the foul trouble for you, most notably for San Felipe, almost everyone has at least 3 fouls. Sepulveda with 3, Verwet with 3, Rosado with 3, Larry Ruiz also with a couple, Medina with 3, and Ronaldo Morales with 4. So usually you worry about maybe one guy or two fouling out in a ball game. We could have more than that here in the second half if the style of play continues. Father Henry Carr led in the first half by Noah Ngamba, who scored 9 of his 12 first half points at the free throw line. And right now it's the Crusaders trailing by a point, 37-36 at the break. Again, you would think that Father Henry Carr was the big favorite in this game, 22-4 the record, a much bigger team, much more physical team. We'll see if they're simply taking their opponent too lightly or if the Eagles can keep this up here in the second half. Before we get underway in the second half, we take a trip back to 2 nights ago and the dunk contest here in Salisbury. Rob Unitas taking home the hardware, as you saw there, the Lithuanian Jumpman. Captivating the Wicomico Youth and Civic Center here in Salisbury, as we're just about ready for second half action between Father Henry Carr and San Felipe. The Eagles from Arecibo, Puerto Rico. The Crusaders from Toronto, Ontario, as this tournament continues to grow year after year. The Governor's Challenge started all the way back in 1981. It's now grown to the largest in the nation, featuring over 120 different teams. Crusaders will have the ball first, working right to left. Shirley will set up the offense in between the circles, now dribble it to his right. Shirley turning the corner. Skip a pass back outside for Johnson. Thought about the three, doesn't take it. Instead, Ocampo will. And Ocampo around and out on his shot. Battle for the rebound. And it's pulled in by the Eagles. Vargas will wave his teammates up the floor. Vargas at 5'9", working against Imanga at 6'5". Pass to Rosado. Free throw line jump shot off the mark, too strong. And the rebound pulled down by Imanga again. Here's Ocampo. Dish it off to Johnson. Up and in with the right hand. Count it, and a foul. So Caleb Johnson up to 8 points in the ball game and a chance to add on at the free throw line. A reminder to stay with us after this game. This is game 3 of 4 in the day for us here at the Governor's Challenge, streaming live on the NFHS network, all presented by AT&T. We will have St. Andrews from Barrington, Rhode Island, facing off with Balboa from Escondido, California, coming up as soon as this one is over. So the Crusaders back in front by a point. Eagles forced to work against pressure. They've done a nice job not turning the ball over, to work quickly and use their shorter but quicker frames to their advantage. They do almost turn it over here. Ruiz turns down the initial three. Now he'll take it. That time too strong, and the rebound controlled by Johnson. Sepulveda takes his spill as he tried to turn the corner and get the steal from behind. Now a foul called, and it's a blocking foul against Vargas as Ocampo spun off of him, making his way in from the baseline. So on Vargas, that's his first. One of the few players not in foul trouble. Inbound down low, Raheem Wilson off the mark on the shot. And now Sepulveda looking to push, 3-on-2. Off to the right wing. Ruiz back to Sepulveda, right corner three ball. That's off the mark, no good. And the rebound for Ocampo. He'll set it up ahead. Imanga, count it, and a foul. Noah Ngamba a chance for a three-point play, as he lived at the free throw line in the first half. 10 of 14. His team went 22 of 34 at 65% in the opening half. Free throw up and around and through. So 15 in the game now for the sophomore. Ruiz pushing across the midcourt stripe. Vargas dribbling left wing. 6:15 to play, third quarter. Pass it inside for Rosado. Skip it to the wing. Ruiz loads up. His three ball a little bit strong. Offensive rebound, and stepping on the end line with Sepulveda. Nice move to the basket, but then Shirley lost it, got it back, forces it up and draws contact, and a chance for one more. Jalen Shirley playing in the low block, and the point guard a chance for a three-point play. Shirley's now got 7. And from a 1-point deficit at the half, Crusaders have come out strong from the locker room. They now lead by 7. Sepulveda trying to avoid the trap. Nice bounce pass in between it. Rosado kicks it out right side. Nunez met in the corner. Back to Rosado, back to the basket. Gives up his dribble. Reverse it. Left wing. Ruiz steps in. And a foul called. It'll go against Ngamba. Referee's getting a lot of face time in this one. So when Ngamba comes out, Howard back in. Into Rosado in front of his own bench. Rosado, straight line drive, left the layup short. Breakaway the other way, Ocampo. And that is a and one opportunity. Or is it an offensive foul? It's an offensive foul. Tough to see what the initial signal was. I was blocked out by the basket. Vargas looked to be leaning from my vantage point, but he draws the charge. Seven-point advantage for the Crusaders. Ruiz off the inbound. Trapped immediately. Sepulveda to the rescue. He'll lob it up towards the scores table. Rosado nearly tumbles over top of it, trying to save it. And the ball knocked onto court number 2 here at the Wicomico Youth and Civic Center. Again, this event spawns 5 different facilities. 2 courts here. And then they also use J.M. Bennett High School, Wicomico High School, Parkside High, and the University of Maryland Eastern Shore to accommodate over 120 teams. This game illustrating the growth of the tournament perhaps better than any other. With a team from Puerto Rico and a team from Canada doing battle here in Salisbury. Officials right now working on the shot clock. They've got it down to 2. Although I thought it was touched by Rosado last. We'll see who has possession. The referee's conferring with the scores table across the way. Again, stick with us after the conclusion of this one. St. Andrews at 7-3 start the year. Tangle with Balboa across the country from California. So it ends up being a fresh shot clock. Euro step down the lane. Layup goes for Ocampo. He's got 7, and that was his nicest move so far today. Lead swells to 9. Virouette surveys. He'll cross over, drive left side of the lane, off balance floater. That's off the mark, no good. And the rebound for Raheem Wilson. Pushing the break the other way. Layup good for Johnson. Johnson into double figures. And timeout taken. Don't forget, day 4 of the tournament comes your way tomorrow. It begins late in the evening with Rock Creek Christian as they tangle with South Shore. And then we see Balboa for a 3rd consecutive day as they duel with Legacy. Legacy right now down in the Myrtle Beach dunk competition, or the Dunk at the Beach tournament. And they're coming back for that final day. A busy stretch of games for the team from Greenville, South Carolina. They're not the only ones. I was talking before last game that we had here with the head coach of St. Maria Goretti, Sidney McRae. They were down there as well. Multiple teams from this tournament taking not only advantage of what the Governor's Challenge has to offer, but also competing tournaments up and down the country. .445 to play, third quarter. The lead has grown to 11 for Father Henry Carr. Pirouette gets it off the inbound. And it's kicked this time by Ocampo as he's trying to get it back to Sepulveda. Official signaling for a reset of the shot clock. Scores table doesn't see it. Now they've got it back at 30. Pirouette surveys. Again, the full court pressure, a mantra for this Father Henry Carr team, but they pass it up ahead this time. Count the bucket and a foul. Chance for a three-point play as the Eagles go right over the pressure. And Nunez gets the catch and finish at the rim. No good on the free throw for Nunez, and an offensive foul on the rebound. If that's on Morales, that's fine. Morales thought it was on him. He started to walk off the court. I'm not sure who they actually got. Full court pressure now set up by the Eagles as they try to do the same thing the Crusaders have done here. Shirley hard to the rim. No good, but he's fouled. Nunez says it was him this time, and that'll be his second. We had 35 combined fouls in the opening half. I don't really want to know what we can get to here in the second half. No good for Shirley. It's still single digits on the lead for the Crusaders. Pirouette pushing forward. Gets trapped, and a foul called away from the ball. No, it's on the ball. It's against Pirouette, extending that left arm, the offhand. 4:16 to play, third quarter, 48-39. Ocampo splitting the double team, kicks it out to the corner. Three-pointer on the way from Dorsett, around and out. Tip up good. Weak side from Johnson. Johnson's now got 12. Morales has his pass kicked away. Shot clock will reset to 30. Xavier Rodriguez will come back in. He'll take the spot of Pirouette, who will head to the bench, far side right. Under 4 minutes in the third. Pass down low, pump fake. Rodriguez up too strong in the shot. Battle for the rebound. And count it, and a foul. The Eagles continue to do well on the glass. And this is Nunez, who again has a chance for a three-point play. Nunez now in double figures with 10. Now a violation called. Goes against Sepulveda, I think, who backed away from the key. Shirley near the rim, couldn't get the bunny to go, and the rebound tipped out and controlled by Vargas. Vargas to Sepulveda, far sideline. He's able to steer into the front court. Vargas head fake, drives down the lane, wraparound pass, threw it out of bounds. Just over 3 minutes to play, third quarter. Here's a steal. Rodriguez on the break, lays it up, no good. He missed the bunny. Here's Johnson back the other way, kicks to the corner. Shirley the triple try. He can't get that one to fall. Tip on the rebound. And a foul called down low. I believe they got Morales. If it's him, that's 5. No, they call it on Sepulveda. And we're already into the bonus here in the third quarter. 1-and-1 free throws coming for the Crusaders. First one, no good. Offensive rebound and put back in from Raheem Wilson. So he's able to clean up the glass. 52-41, lead back to 11. Now a turnover. Wilson takes it away. Wilson lays it off for Shirley, but first an offensive foul. Vargas stood in there. And Vargas 5'9" against Wilson 6'7". He was willing to take the charge. 2:53 to play in the third. Again, St. Andrews and Balboa coming up next to cap off the night here in day 3 of the Governor's Challenge. Eagles get a lay-in at the bucket. Morales puts it in. Back to a 9-point game. Corner. Shirley got it. We haven't seen much scoring from behind the arc. So much of it's been done at the free throw line. But Jalen Shirley gets a 3-ball to go down. He's got 10 points and a timeout called by Father Henry Carr. Paul Melnick wants a full timeout, and it gives us a chance to take a look at some of the alumni from his program in years past. Notable ones include Tyler Ennis, who played collegiately at Syracuse, went on to be a first-round draft pick in 2014 by the Phoenix Suns. He's currently back in Toronto, playing on the Raptors G League team, in fact. Dylan Brooks, also an NBA talent, currently on the Memphis Grizzlies, played for Father Henry Carr. And then later ended up at Oregon, where he played his college ball, a second-round draft pick by the Rockets in 2017. But Ennis in particular is really interesting. As Melnick was telling me last night, as we detailed earlier, he's always had this affinity for Michael Jordan dating back to his days in North Carolina. And Tyler Ennis, out of college, signed with Jordan. An endorsement deal, and there was a sense among folks at Jordan that they wanted to expand north of the border. And so they've ended up partnering with Father Henry Carr, and it all started with Tyler Ennis, but it's come very much full circle for Paul Melnick. So interested in Michael Jordan, and to be able to be sponsored by that brand and to wear it across the jackets and the uniforms, such a proud moment for him as a coach. And they have awesome Jordan gear, uniforms, shoes. You see the jumpsuits that the coaches wear. They have those in black and blue, and they might have them in more colors than that, but those are the ones that I've seen them wearing around Salisbury, and they wore that insignia very proudly. (55-43). Father Henry Carr on top. 2:25 to play, third quarter. Third of 4 games today from Salisbury. Sepulveda comes to get it, avoiding the trap in the front court. Calling out a play now as he works to his right. Handoff to Rodriguez. Or rather, this is Vargas down the lane. He missed the shot with the floater left side of the lane. Sepulveda now with the steal. Sepulveda to the rack. Layup good. Derek Sepulveda, who went scoreless in the first half despite 3 fouls, limiting his playing time. And now contact away from the ball and an offensive foul. Sepulveda draws it. So a burst of energy courtesy of Derek Sepulveda, who got the start today in place of Richie Tirado, the point guard who fractured his foot a couple of games ago and is currently out. Despite being with the team physically, he's not able to play with that foot fracture. Sepulveda crossing over, and kick ball the call as Johnson slid his foot into the dribbling lane. Bounce pass into Morales. Back outside Sepulveda, now to Rodriguez. They work it far side. Vargas drive and dish. Back out to Sepulveda. Trying to turn the corner. Step back. Long two. He cans it. Sepulveda fired up. And the Eagles back to within 8. 1:35 to go in the third. Sepulveda nearly gets the steal. Jump shot door set, and he answers with the long two. But Sepulveda's gotten the crowd into things as Vargas handles in the front court, and now off to Sepulveda. Morales gives up his dribble after putting it on the deck once. Sepulveda into the lane, bumped on the way to the rim, and he's called for traveling. I think that was the right call. The defense held their ground. Sepulveda just pinballed off a bigger defender. Dorsett dumps it down low. Cador back to the basket, can't finish, and it's tipped out of play, back to the Eagles. Full court pressure from Henry Carr. Into Rodriguez, back to Sepulveda, he'll lob it over the top. Vargas steers it towards the center of the floor. Rodriguez head fake, back to Vargas. 42 seconds remain here in the third quarter. Vargas, deep three, got it! Melvin Vargas up to 5. And the Eagles have now pulled within 7. Their fans stomping and clapping and making themselves heard as they try to take down the Toronto Power, Father Henry Carr. And a foul called now on Sebastian Nunez. That'll be his third. 19 seconds remain here in the third quarter. St. Andrews sitting at the bench below us, looking on as they await the game following us against Balboa. St. Andrews last night knocked off St. Maria Goretti 82-56 in dominant fashion. 12 players played, 11 scored, 4 in double figures. As we're going to get another foul called. And once again, it's against Nunez. Ninth team foul, 1 and 1 free throws. Eagles also into the single bonus right now. His father, Henry Carr, has committed 7 fouls. Johnson gets the rebound after the free throw miss, and now a foul called reaching in. Morales, that's 5. So Morales will have to leave. Burgos, who played well off the bench in the first half, heading to the scores table. Mark Henriquez headed to the opposite end, and Sepulveda shaken up. He's being carried off to the left side of the floor and over towards the trainer's table. Didn't see what happened, but he certainly seems to be uncomfortable. His right hip or back. It looks like, based upon what we're seeing, he may have gotten an elbow into the rib cage. As they check on him over to the left. First, Henriquez at the free throw line. 8.5 seconds remain here in the third quarter. Henriquez scored 1 in the opening half. Has a chance to stretch the lead to 8, and does. 8 seconds left. Vargas, bounce pass ahead. Rodriguez with 4. Into traffic with 3. Contact and a foul called as Vargas took a spill, and he will have a 1-and-1 free throw upcoming. 1.3 to play. First free throw off the heel, no good. Johnson has the rebound, and that will do it for the third quarter. So at the end of 3 quarters of play here from Salisbury.
Ladies and gentlemen, the final score here on court number 1. So, on the third quarter, I'm sorry, my apologies. We are at the end of the third quarter, and the score.
One quarter still to come in Salisbury, 58-50. The lead for the Crusaders. Eagles continue to keep it close. They've knocked down a couple of big threes. Vargas a moment ago. We'll see if Sepulveda can return as he's tended to our left. He provided them another spark down the stretch. Back in a moment, you're watching the 2019 Governor's Challenge presented by AT&T.
The new $3 Little John from Jimmy John's is just like our original sandwiches, only littler. So we bought a little ad on Lil John.
Little John, yeah! $3, what?
Matt Present back with you from Salisbury, 58-50 in favor of the Crusaders. San Felipe will not go away. Vargas crossing over, dishes it off, left side of the lane. Fadeaway jump shot from Nunez around and in. Sebastian Nunez now with 12 points. It's a 5-point game. 6-point game, excuse me. And now a turnover. Vargas in the front court. Vargas feeds a pass down low and another finish at the rim. This time Xavier Rodriguez. 58-54. 7:30 to play. We mentioned earlier as Henriquez pulls the trigger on a deep 3, doesn't get it to go. Offensive rebound and a foul called. Mentioned earlier, Father Henry Carr and St. Andrews squared off in a St. Andrews hosted tournament a week and a half ago. The Saints winning that ball game 92-90 in overtime. The Saints right now watching, and I don't think they're cheering on Father Henry Carr. I think they're rooting for the underdogs in this one. Despite that bond that formed a week and a half ago, those teams certainly have close ties and know one another well. But they want to see the underdog pull off the upset. Ngaba back in along with Raheem Wilson. And we haven't really seen any back-to-the-basket play inside from the Crusaders in this one. Front rimming the second free throw, Dorsett, and the rebound collected by San Felipe. Rosado in the front court. Splits two defenders, he walked with it. Just over 7 minutes left in regulation against St. Andrews and Balboa to cap off the night right after this one. Now a zone look shown from the Eagles. Near side Johnson. Against a physical Rosado, he'll throw a skip pass to Dorsett. Split in the defense, Dorsett high off the glass, can't get it to drop. Battle for the rebound and a foul called. I think that was against Vargas. She doesn't like the call. Third against Vargas, 10th team foul. And free throws coming from the Crusaders. Dorsett good on the first. Ruiz back in. He made a three ball to open the ball game. Has been saddled with foul trouble ever since. Second free throw good as well. Double figures now for Dorsett. 7-point lead again for the Crusaders. Ruiz right back to Vargas, cutting down the lane, lost it off his knee, out of play. Actually, it will stay with San Felipe. They say it was touched off of the Crusaders as the three balls missed off the mark that time by Ruiz. He tries to save it, stays in play, and now a fast break opportunity to Johnson. He leans in. It's an offensive foul. Vargas drawing the charge. Actually, did they change the call? No, it looked for a moment like Johnson was going to stop at the free throw line as if he were shooting. So it is a foul against Caleb Johnson. Still a 7-point deficit. Ruiz keeps it alive. Rosado the head fake, leaning in and knocks it down. William Rosado with his second bucket. And we talked about the top having scoring output a couple of days ago against Veritas. Not the case here today. It's been very balanced for the Eagles. They're within 5. Dorsett off the jab step. Ngamba leaning into 2. Shirley the triple. Grazes the front of the rim, and the rebound controlled by San Felipe and Rosado. Vargas for Ruiz. He gets it back now. Vargas down the lane. Scoops it up, and a foul called. Foul called against Raheem Wilson. So Vargas at the free throw line. Well, if there's an unconventional book, so to speak, on how to beat Father Henry Carr, you put him at the free throw line all game, you take him out of any sort of rhythm offensively, and then you try to go on a run down the stretch. It must have been the 5th foul on someone. I didn't see who committed it, unless a timeout was taken, but I'm unclear what the stoppage is currently. So out of this stoppage, it will be Melvin Vargas at the free throw line. He's really showcased his quickness here in this one. And the free throw up and good. Well, Derek Sepulveda just returned to the bench from the training table, but based on the body language, it looks like he will not be returning. Vargas' second free throw up and good. He's now got 7. It's a 3-point game. 5:30 to play. And the Puerto Rican crowd very much into this. Imanga draws the foul inside. That will go against Nunez. And a couple of subs quickly off the bench for Luis Xavier Vidot. Certainly have to give him credit to how he's managed minutes today. Everything he's done from a game planning standpoint to be able to hang tough against a certainly physically superior opponent. (63-58). Rosado has his pass picked off. Fast break opportunity. Dorsett lays it up and in. Jaden Dorsett now with 13, able to convert off the turnover. Vargas gets the pass over top of the defense. Vargas driving dish. Rosado underneath, gets the roll. Rosado's now got 14. 12 came in the first half. And now the defense chant starting up once again. 4:44 to play. 5-point deficit for the Eagles. Touch pass into Johnson. Floater up, good, and a foul. Big bucket for Caleb Johnson. He's got 14 and a chance to add on to it at the free throw line. Just sat down in the middle of the zone. Quick release and contact against the forearm. So I believe that's 5 on Rosado. He'll head down to the end of the bench with 4:36 to play. Sebastian Nunez back onto the floor. 67-60 in favor of the Crusaders. Caleb Johnson, who Paul Melnick said is as gifted an offensive player as he's ever coached, at the free throw line, and he's able to convert. Johnson's now got 15 to lead Father Henry Carr, along with Noah Ingamba, who has 16. They're wet in the front court, off to Rosado. And Rosado draws a reach-in foul against Ocampo. So Rosado at the free throw line. Bends the knees, flicks the wrist, hits the first. Or Rivera, I should say. I beg your pardon. Not Rosado, but Rivera. One more coming for William Rivera. 5'10" sophomore. Up and good. Referee on the far side blows things dead. He wanted to check on the wrist of Jaden Dorsett. I don't know if he thought he saw blood on the sleeve or what, but it appears Dorsett is okay to continue. Shirley has it. And now the ref will call Dorsett over and see if he can get some disinfectant maybe. I don't see what he's... Oh, yeah, now I do. There's a blood spatter on the back of his shorts. So I guess they're using some sort of disinfectant spray to take care of any bacteria that might result from that. He's got some on his right arm as well. So presumably it tripped from the elbow to the pant leg. Now we're set to resume. 4:23 to go. Ocampo in between the circles. Johnson on the right wing. Wraparound pass down low. Ngaba swings it near side. Dorsett will draw the foul. Two free throws coming for Dorsett with 4:07 to play. 6-point game. Luis Xavier Vidot continues to mix in the subs from his bench, trying to keep players fresh, trying to spread out the fouls as best he can. Again, foul trouble all the way up and down this roster, but so far he's managed best he can. Second free throw rims out, and the rebound claimed by the Eagles. 4 minutes to play. Lead pass up ahead. Rivera to the bucket. Draws the foul. So William Rivera, who knocked down a couple free throws a moment ago, right back to the line. Down by 7. And a chance for the Eagles to score with the clock stopped. Rivera 2 for 2. He's got 8 points now. 5-point deficit for the Eagles. Oh. Straight line drive for Ocampo. And it's an offensive foul. The grittiness all game long from the Eagles. They've been able to stave off these straight line drives. Bigger, stronger, faster players on Father Henry Carr, but not used to playing this style of basketball. And now the referee holds up play. Checking with the book. I don't know if it was a foul situation with so many players in foul trouble or clock. We've had a number of strange stoppages in this one. It's been a strange game the whole way. Into Vargas. 3:45 to play in the fourth. Rivera turning the corner. Thought about the three, didn't take it. Now he pops it back outside. Drive down the lane, finish at the hole. Virouette able to bank it in. And it's now a 3-point game, 69-66, and an offensive foul. Johnson again called for the personal. All of his fouls have been on the offensive side. And he's saying, I didn't extend my arm, I simply am just stronger. A chance to tie here. Kick out left side, head fake, no shot. Driving, Rivera up and good. 1 point game. Ocampo, hounded by Rivera on defense. Swing it far side. And a foul called. That was actually Ocampo who shot it. Dorsett had it initially. Now Paul Melnick getting right up in the face of Jaden Dorsett. I think for making the pass over top of the defense instead of keeping the ball on the near side of the floor. Free throw up and good. 70-68, clock stopped at 3:05. Ocampo, a check of the sideline. Free throw 2 on the way. Around and out, no good. Chance to tie or take the lead. Pirouette up ahead. And a foul called. That was Vargas trying to turn the corner. Bumped into the outstretched leg of Jaden Shirley. So Melvin Vargas at the free throw line for San Felipe out of Arecibo, Puerto Rico. And he drops in the first. One point game with 3 minutes to play. Vargas, a nice game off the bench. This one for the tie. Got it. Even at 70. Johnson bringing the ball up the floor. Looking to break down Rodriguez. Drive and dish. Ocampo passed on the 3. He'll split 2 defenders. Leave it off. Ngamba to the rim. Layup falls. And Carr back in front. And Paul Melnick wants a full timeout. So Ngamba, who did it early, primarily at the free throw line, puts the Crusaders back in front at 72-70. We talked about all the Toronto-born players who have made their way to the NBA. There's only been one Puerto Rican-born player who's made it to the NBA that's active, and that's J.J. Barea of the Dallas Mavericks, 35 years of age, from Mayagüez, Puerto Rico, the 7th Puerto Rican in NBA history overall. He came to the U.S. in high school, played his college ball at Northeastern University, and he's the only active Puerto Rican player in the NBA. As you've seen here today, a much different style, much more speed, speed, defense, quickness, the focal point for Puerto Rico. And it's something else that I thought was interesting that Ricardo Tirado, one of the assistant coaches, noted to me leading up to this tournament, is that in the U.S. there's such a focus on practice, on training. In Puerto Rico, he said, they really just play games. There's not a whole lot of practice in between. They just try to play a high volume of games and give the players the situational in-game experience. 2:45 to play. It'll be San Felipe ball out of the timeout, going the length of the floor. They get it into Virouette. Virouette working against Johnson. Trying to beat him off the dribble. He clears the timeline. 72-70. Crusaders up by 2. Virouette. Step back. Shake and bake off the dribble. Trying to create for himself. Virouette does not take the 3. Shot clock down to 7. They go inside now. Jump shot off the mark. Too strong that time by Nunez. And Father Henry Carr has a chance to make this a 2-possession game. Ocampo pulls up. Elbow jump shot won't go. And an offensive foul called on Johnson over the back. That's 4 on Johnson. And none of them have come when playing defense. So we'll head down to the opposite end of the floor and shoot free throws. Viruet will be at the free throw line. He'll have a chance once again to tie the score. Viruet played 1 year in the States in Miami, returned to Puerto Rico to play for San Felipe. And now he's back in the U.S. playing Governor's Challenge, and looks like that actually might be 5 fouls on Caleb Johnson. That's my guess, because we've held up play again. I had him at 4, but it looks like that will be his 5th. And understandably very frustrated as he heads to the end of the bench for Father Henry Carr. So Malachi Howard back on the floor in his place. First free throw up and good. One more coming to even the score at 72. No good. Crusaders have it, and they have the lead. 2 minutes and 5 seconds left to play. Dorsett into traffic, too strong. Ball tipped around, touched out of bounds off of the Crusaders. And back to the Eagles. Boy, the way the last few sequences have been played out, it feels like this game is down to the final seconds, not 2 minutes remaining. But every possession so valuable at this juncture. Step back three, Vargas, too strong, battle for the rebound. And a foul called, and it looks like it will stay at this end. So we'll have free throws, both teams in the double bonus. Viruet at the free throw line. First one up and around and through. So now the Eagles can go back ahead. Give Coach Vidot a ton of credit for how he has been able to mix guys in and out of the rotation, protect against foul trouble, and hang tight all the way down to the wire. 1:35 to play. Shirley directing traffic. It's a 2-3 zone now, employed by the Eagles. Ocampo driving. Bodies off a defender. No call this time. And to the bucket. Ball tipped up. No good. Dorsett couldn't get the initial shot to go. Second chance effort. Dorsett in the corner. Back outside. Stolen away. Rivera picks the pocket. Up court now. Inside shot up and in. Adrian Medina's got 8 points. It's a 2-point advantage for the Eagles with a minute to play. Shirley for Ocampo. And a whistle down low, a foul called on the floor. And 2 free throws upcoming for the Crusaders. First one up and good. Ngamba's been stellar all day from the free throw line. Now for the tie. Yes, sir. 20 points for Ngamba to lead all scorers. Vargas operating. Again, the Eagles down 2 guards. They lost Richie Tirado before the game as the 3-ball misses, and then during this game they also lost Derek Sepulveda. Lead pass up ahead to the bucket, Euro step and the finish. Malachi Howard's first field goal of the ball game gives the Crusaders a 76-74 advantage, and timeout taken by Father Henry Carr and Paul Melnick. What a move by Malachi Howard in the open floor. He's been key off the bench all season, Hasn't been all that impactful today in sparse minutes, but in crunch time, able to come through with a big transition bucket. .29 seconds remain. Shot clock turned off. And we'll see what San Felipe has in mind. Will they go quickly? Will they hold for one? Will they go for the two and the tie? Will they go for three and the win? A lot of options at the disposal for Luis Xavier Vidat and this team that has hung around all day and remained in striking distance. They need to go the length of the floor. Vargas will handle. He gets it across. Virouette, bounce pass down low. Contact, no call this time. And away come the Crusaders. Ocampo to the bucket. Flips it up, no good. Offensive rebound and a foul called. No, it's a timeout taken. Virouette wanted the foul, doesn't get it. The timeout came first, and that's big because they would have been shooting free throws with a chance to tie. I can't believe that Ocampo went so quickly and took that shot he could have held and forced the intentional foul with his team up by 2. Instead, he's cracked the door back open. .3 seconds remain. Again, if you're looking for St. Andrews against Balboa, we'll have them about 15 minutes after the conclusion of this one. St. Andrews was sitting on the bench beneath us watching a moment ago. Now they're all standing, trying to stay loose. Balboa has also just emerged from their locker room, standing across the way to our left beyond the end of the Father Henry Carr bench. It's been a tough game to officiate with the discrepancy in size and strength. It's resulted in a ton of free throws both ways. .3. Virouette will inbound. Gives it up and gets it back. Kick to the corner, and it is out of bounds to the Crusaders. Waited for a moment to see if it was tipped. It was not, as Laui Ruiz was spotting up for a potential go-ahead 3, and now he'll commit an intentional foul. So 2 free throws would ice it. 1 would keep this game alive. And the Crusaders heading down to the other end to shoot. They got it in Gamba's hands, and he's been excellent all day from the free throw line. Two enormous free throws here for the sophomore forward. First one, no good. So a 3-point, a decision to make. I think with this much time you make it, but you certainly also have the option to miss on purpose and prevent a set play. Second one, no good, he did miss. I don't think it was intentional. Offensive rebound and a foul as Ocampo was hit in the corner with 1.2 to play. So Ocampo now at the free throw line. And it looks like Virouette has fouled out. Third player in the game to do so, as Burgos will come back on. And 2 free throws coming for Brendan Ocampo with 1.2 to play. First one, good. Now a second one to ice it. Ocampo knocks it down. 4-point game, 1.2. Full court heave, no good. And Father Henry Carr, despite being tied late in regulation, able to get a couple of turnovers, transition buckets, and prevail over San Felipe in a battle of Toronto, Canada against Arecibo, Puerto Rico. And it's the Crusaders who march on. 78-74 is the final. Stay tuned. One more game coming up. St. Andrews and Balboa just minutes away. You're watching the 2019 Governor's Challenge presented by AT&T.
The new $3 Little John from Jimmy John's is just like our original sandwiches, only littler. So we bought a little ad on Lil John.
Little John, yeah! $3, what?